So I know we've all been in a position where you're talking to a girl, the girl likes you, you guys are vibing, things are going well, you feel like it's a really solid connection, and then she gets colder, she kind of distances herself, vibe dies, and you're just sitting there with your dick in your hand like, what the fuck even happened? Like, what happened? I had her waiting on my every text. She's texting me back instantly, and then interest died. Chances are you made this one mistake that I would make in my 20s all the time, and this is why women wouldn't take me seriously. And making this change for myself has really gotten me to a point where I am just generally much more attractive to women. Women are much more into me. It's way easier to get into interactions, and women kind of view me as a sexual option, and I'm able to capitalize on those situations rather than just kind of hoping that they end up going my way, which is no way to live life as a man. You want to feel like a man, you want to feel like you're in control, you want to feel like you know what the fuck's going on. In this video, I'm going to tell you how to do that. So if you watch any Red Pill Guru, you know that the reason she pulled away is because you started chasing, but I'm going to break down 3 reasons why it feels from her perspective like you're chasing, and then I'm going to tell you exactly what to do instead of chasing. And it's going to be different from a lot of other dating advice that you've seen on the internet. This is going to be real shit based on real experiences from hundreds of my clients, or even just like thousands of approaches that I've made myself and just learning through trial and error. So here's what happened, and I've never heard anyone else describe it like this. You started caring with this girl or this girl you approached or whatever, and you started being needy. You started caring about your life together with this girl before you had any commitments to her, before you owed her anything, before you did anything for her, before she did anything for you for that matter. You started caring about that over your own life and your own goals. I see this with my clients all the time. They'll start dating a girl, start seeing her. Maybe they're having sex, right? Maybe like they're hooking up and things are good. There's a good vibe. And then they start feeling bad because they're going on dates or they're trying to make approaches. But the thing is, man, you should not be into approaching or into talking to girls or dating for just getting laid and getting dates. If you want to do that, there's plenty of pickup channels out there. What you're doing this for is for your own self-improvement. And so for me, cold approach and approaching women is the best self-improvement tool that has ever existed. And so the reason that stopping approaching and giving up on setting up options for yourself is bad when you first start seeing a girl is because for most of you guys, outside of maybe the gym and a little bit of work, approaching is, when you're in this part of your life, when you're in this phase, is probably the biggest area of self-improvement that is forcing you to grow. And so you give up on the thing that is forcing the most growth in yourself, building the most confidence in you. And she can sense that. And she can sense that you gave up on that goal for a future with a girl that you don't even fucking know. And as a girl, from her perspective, she's like, I'm just a girl. Yeah, she might be hot. She might, the sex might be good. It might be amazing, right? But it doesn't really matter because you're giving up on your future ambition. You're becoming more comfortable, and you're just not pushing yourself in a way that you were when you first met her. And she can feel that. She can feel that lack of proactivity. She can feel that you're a little less savage than you were before. Like, part of getting good at approaching is going up to a girl, imposing on her day, and being like, listen, I don't really give a fuck, like I'm doing this for myself. And honestly, people find that very attractive. And there's some level of like being a sociopath and not really giving a fuck what people think and kind of interrupting other people's day to get what you want. That is somewhat attractive as long as you do it in the right way. And so when you understand that, you can start to see more clearly, oh, fuck, I wasn't just prioritizing her over other girls, because you can do that. What you were doing was prioritizing her over your own growth, because cold approach or meeting girls from dating apps, that was the thing that was keeping you on your toes. And so if you don't have a replacement for that, then you're fucked. So as somebody that's in a relationship, I have to find ways to stay on my toes. And a lot of that honestly comes down to approaching because of what I do for a living. But if I wasn't approaching, then I would have to find something that I was really dialed in on that kept me sharp, that kept me feeling focused and feeling like I'm pushing forward, or my girl wouldn't be attracted to me anymore. She just wouldn't. And that's just what it is, right? And so you have to understand that if you want to get into interactions where women are attracted to you and they stay attracted to you for a long time and they keep chasing you, you can't give up on the thing that is giving you the most return on your confidence and making you feel the best about yourself, which is taking action, putting yourself in situations where you're uncomfortable, you're pushing your comfort zone, and you're actually facing rejection and having to deal with these emotions. Like, that's very attractive that you're a guy that's willing to do that, and you're giving up on that so you can hook up with this girl a couple times a week. And that's just not attractive from her perspective. And it gets a lot deeper than that, because not only are you giving up on your own goals and your own growth, but then you start having these performative interactions with her. You start performing rather than just being who you are and expressing what you're feeling. You start thinking about things through the lens of, how do I not lose her, rather than who do I want to be? And you stop being authentic to who you are and what you want. So maybe she'll say, what are we? And you immediately just cave and you go, oh yeah, I'd love to be your boyfriend. And you do that 3 months before. Ideally, in an ideal world where her feelings weren't involved, you probably would have waited 3 months. Or maybe you would have said, hey, honestly, I don't really see anything long term, but I would like to keep seeing you because I do like hanging out with you. I just don't think it's going to work out. And that might sound savage. That might sound fucking hardcore. But the fact is, you have to live with your life forever. So you have to live with your decisions forever. For her, you don't have to live inside her head. You don't have to live with hurting someone else's feelings forever. And neither does she. She actually has to live with your shitty decision to stay with her when you didn't want to. She has to live with that forever, right? She has to live with that longer than she has to deal with you hurting her feelings. It's so much better to hurt a woman's feelings in the short term and maintain respect and be honest than it is to lie or supplicate or be nice to her so you don't hurt her feelings. Women are not snowflakes. They are not porcelain dolls. And this is part of pedestalizing. Pedestalizing, a lot of red pill guys talk about it. Oh man, you can't pedestalize the girl because she's gonna think you're a simp or whatever the fuck. She's gonna think you think she's too hot. That's part of pedestalizing, like thinking that because she's perfect, she has this halo effect and she's this little angel and she's never done anything wrong and you're always in the wrong, she's always in the right. But really, pedestalizing comes down to viewing her as not a person. And so if you think that she's not strong enough or capable enough to handle some emotional turmoil of a guy that she's been on 3 dates with and had sex with once, not like saying that he doesn't want to be with her long term, then you're pedestalizing her. And so she's going to lose attraction to you anyway. I think a lot of you guys would be fucking shocked at girls that would stick around in a situationship with a guy that's just fucking honest and gives her good sex and is emotionally just expressive and available and just tells her how it is and is just fucking honest, doesn't spare her feelings. That is so much more attractive and so much more respectful than whatever the fuck white knight bullshit I see guys try to do by trying to save some girls' feelings by, not admitting that they want to like keep seeing other people or whatever. So there are a few key things that you can do to avoid this pedestalization. Okay. When you start hanging out with these girls that you can tell somewhat like you, the way you keep it that way is by continuing to act the same, not be overly nice to them. So 1, tease them and make fun of them as if you already have them and as if they will not leave. Because fear of loss is the most unattractive trait that a guy can have. The more fear of loss you show, the worse you are off. Okay. And I don't care if you're a virgin and you're 35. If you show fear of loss, you're fucked. So you can call it inauthentic to not show that fear of loss, but it doesn't really matter. You can't show that, right? You have to, against all odds, against every fiber of your being, you have to be okay with telling her, oh my God, you're such a fucking dork. You have to be okay with playfully saying that. And if you're not, because you're too afraid she's going to think you're an asshole and walk away, then you do not deserve to stay with that girl. Because trust me, as a guy that was like, I was a mega nice guy growing up. I really struggled with I was simping super hard and I would be super weird and I would pedestalize and objectify women super hard. I had no idea how to treat them like a normal person, but still build attraction and flirt. And the biggest thing that I found is every time you want to be nice, you have to go against that instinct, that fear of loss, like, oh my God, what do I say? What do I say? What do I say? And you have to say the thing that makes you nervous. Like say what you're actually thinking. The best way that I've ever seen this is one of my clients actually distilled it down into something really amazing. It was super cool. If you want to apply to work with me, down in the description, I have 100+ clients all around the world that you can connect with and actually go out and approach with and meet in real life or meet online and hold each other accountable. But one thing that he said, and this is a guy that went from approaching twice a year to twice a day, and now he's pulling an insane amounts. This guy actually said the best way to think about it, and I totally agree with this, is to just always tell the truth. Say exactly what you're thinking. And if you need to figure out a way later, let's say she does get pissed off and she walks away, guess what? There's a bunch of other girls you can talk to and you can figure out how to frame that in a better way that's still the truth, that sounds better, that is more attractive and doesn't spare her feelings but isn't overly rude. But that's going to take practice. It takes calibration. The only reason that I'm good with women, that I would consider myself good with women, is because I've spent a lot of time talking to women. I've made a lot of mistakes, and I've known how to actually handle those situations. That's it. I didn't know how to do that when I was 19. I would have times where I would sit on a date with a girl and I would like think, oh man, fuck, what do I say to this? What do I say to this? And I would be too nice, and I could see the attraction just completely leave her eyes. She had like this hollow look after I said it. And it's like, fuck, I just completely killed the vibe. I knew it. And so the only way to do this is by starting to push your comfort zone. So if you want help on pushing your comfort zone and you want specific examples on how to tease more, how to not pedestalize women that you're talking to, how to be a guy that women actually want to chase, not get stuck in the friend zone, not make girls lose interest, then you can apply to work with me down in the description. No need to if you don't want to. If you don't want to take this to the next level, that's fine. If you're getting results from the YouTube videos, I've had a lot of guys message me saying that they get a lot of results from the content that I put on YouTube. So I'm happy for you guys to just stick around, watch the videos. I'll see you guys in the next time. Drop a like, subscribe. See ya.